Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in Mexico. I'm Ben Raggan McConnell, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Horn Badger. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. How's things?
All good, except I've realised that the audio for this video is so loud in comparison to your voice. I'm just going to turn it down a little bit, but that is the circuit they're going to be attacking today. Remember, this is Mexico. 2 DRS zones are the only things you're going to be seeing today, and this is going to be the hard part now, because there's only one detection zone. So if you don't get the move done by the end of the first straight, then you've got an opportunity to do it again. But it does mean that if you pass the first one, you're not actually going to be able to, if you get overtaken, by the time you get to turn 1, you're not going to be able to recover it back because the DRS will secure that. However, look at the championship standings. It's the driver standings. It's Hyper's on the top step with 288, and Nicholas was chasing him down. Obviously, he has since left, so he will no longer be challenging for the drivers' championship. The constructors, though, that's the bit where it still is all to play for. So we have lost both Racing Point drivers. We have replaced them with two decent drivers, let's just say that. So the championship stands are still very much going on. Mercedes is still there, Racing Point is still there, Haas is still there, and we are now going to get into, I believe, the actual race. I'm just going to turn back in. This is how early we are. For the first time in, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, we haven't yet actually done the end of the hype video by the time we get into the race.
Yep, and now nice and early. When you started talking, I was like, wait, have I just not managed to get into the game yet? What's happened?
I was told 9 minutes was how long it was. I timed it. I was a bit too early this time, apparently, even though I did it at 9 minutes too. But we are here. So, the people that have replaced Nicholas Longuet and Camille are Hayes, who you may all know, and Safso. So they're going to be representing the Racing Point team. Haas are still in the Constructors' Championships as well. Infamous is usually here. He's obviously not here today. It's going to be Noosa driving for him as the reserve. Obviously, Yonti's still here, so he can still secure some big points as well. Hopefully, Noosa has a really solid race. We'll have to see how this one pans out.
Yep, absolutely. There's, as you say, the championship battle is still ongoing for the Constructors, although it's looking very likely that Hypers is going to be our Drivers' Champion.
Now the question is, will Noosa be able to find the pit box? Because I don't know if you're aware, there was an endurance race not that long ago that he couldn't find the pit box. He drove right past it, reversed back in the pit lane, and ended up getting into a massive collision.
Well, thankfully that shouldn't be a problem in this game. So, yep, that could cause some serious issues and damage, as you've just seen one of the. I think it was the Toro Rosses there nearly take out a Mercedes in the pit lane, but obviously the game just ghosts your car when that happens, so it's all good.
So immediately the Alpha Boys are already out, and this is actually quite a usual trend for them. They are the two drivers who we see week on week actually take it to the circuit very, very quickly. And the skies are looking a little bit grey, so we may see some rain later in this qualifying session. Although at the moment they're out, they're on the softs. There are a couple of drivers that have decided hard tyres. One of them is Preshneider, who's decided that the hard tyre is the one he wants to start his qualifying on. So clearly he just wants to get a few laps in, just to get the feel of the track a little bit. If it does rain, though, he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Have we had a weather report?
We have not yet. We have not yet.
So
no rain expected, I'm told.
Yeah, presumably if you're going out on the hard tyres like that, there definitely shouldn't be rain in this session. Obviously, going forward into the race, that could be a different matter. But yeah, if you think rain's coming for the session, you would certainly not be going out on hard tyres trying to put in a time.
Alright, so I'm told it's going to be a cloudy qualifying and a dry race. So dry race and quality all around. This is going to be a great and an entertaining session to start us off with. We do need to do a hot lap, so I'm actually going to do it with Yenab. So Yenab is currently on the home straight. He's got the DRS wing wide open and coming up towards probably the most hot spot, if you like, for the circuit. In towards turn 1, brake hard at the 100 meter board, get onto the apex just nicely, and do the same for turn 2. Ride the curb as much as you can, but do not cut it too hard because you will get invalidated. Another DRS zone now as we go hard in towards turn 4. Brake just after the safety car box on the right side, right before the 100 meter board, otherwise you will lock up like you've just seen Yenab do. And then coming through turn 5 and coming up to a double right-hander of 6 and 7. get a solid exit, don't lose the rear end, which is very easy to do because you need to get the throttle down as soon as you can. And then we come into the S section. This bit here, this is, in my opinion, the hardest part of this circuit because it's so difficult. You need to make sure your car is balanced just right as you ride all of the curbs, and you have to be so precise. There is no way you can go too wide through there. There is no way that you can overtake through there. So you have to make sure that you just get the timing just right, you get the lines just right, and you hope that the driver ahead of you, if you are chasing someone, or the driver behind you, if you're leading, is going to get it right too. Because if either one of you is slightly faster or slightly slower, there will be contact, and we're coming around the final corner to get the fastest lap so far, and already it's being by his teammate.
Yep, that's and then Hypers with a time as well, going on a 10th faster, putting himself onto provisional pole position. So, yeah, it's looking good for Hypers there straight out of the bat.
So Hayes has been out and done a hot lap, but he has invalidated, so he's coming straight back into the pits and decided, I'm going to try again in a minute. Right, Yonti as well is somebody else who's obviously very much still fighting to keep the constructors alive. He's doing what he can to try and secure his higher position in the qualifying. He has invalidated this lap, so he will not be able to qualify just yet. He will have to wait, but we have still 14 minutes left for the remaining of the session.
Yep, there's plenty of time for everyone to get multiple laps in, and I fully expect that the Hypers has set a good banker lap there, but I fully expect quite a lot of the competition to also be within the 113s. Pole time maybe a couple of tenths faster than that, you think?
Potentially that's the situation now. Something else to think about actually. When it comes to these guys and the towing that they have done in the past, I've seen one of the racing points just go off circuit. I think that was Safsa just bringing himself in, keeping him out of the way. Normally, the Renault boys are the ones we normally look to see the way that they do the tow. As I've just seen Yolta invalidate his lap. I think that was a bit too wide there on the exit. Big mistake. Probably will come into the pits. However, the main place you want to give the tow is where he's doing it right now. He's got Brownie on the back end of him, ready to give him the tow all the way through it. But a lot of people can't do their usual strategy, which is as the driver's gone out and doing a lap already, the other driver then will start to come out right as they're nearing the start-finish straight, so they can give the tow. Brownie's going to get a lovely tow through there, and then now into turn 1, 2, and 3. And then again, he's going to have another DRS. He's invalidated. He just lost it on turn 3.
Definitely unfortunate, but as you say, still plenty of time left in the session, so we can absolutely get another go at this. But the Renault boys will, that they practice doing the slip stream with each other and getting the tow quite a lot. So every race we come to, they're doing it. So absolutely, will Yolta end up getting the slip next run out, and they'll do the back and forth until the flag drops.
So Schneider and Buemels, they're the two drivers, coincidentally for the same team, that have gone out on the hard tyres. They've both done laps. Schneider's done a banker lap with a 126.6. Definitely not a time that he's planning to stick to throughout the rest of this race. Buemels has done a 116.2, so it's still a good time considering he's on the hard tyres. Likelihood is he will be going again, probably going out on the softs. Now here's the big thing. This circuit is very difficult to one-stop. You can do a one-stop from softs to hards. You can, as Dave Fossete pointed out the other day, you can do a one-stop from softs to mediums, which I saw it happen, but he had to take the softs very far out in order to make that then chop over to the mediums and then carry it right the way to the end. It's not as easy as you think. So the two-star strategy is something that majority of people will be going for, softs, mediums probably. Hypers did that last time I saw him on Tuesday. It was good, don't get me wrong, but he didn't get the win. Whether or not he's learned from that, whether or not he's going to try a different strategy, whether or not he's just going to repeat the same strategy and maybe just do the same thing that he was supposed to do, then he might secure the win. I think this time, we're going to see a huge variance when it comes to the strategies among all the drivers.
Yep, we were quite surprised on Tuesday, seeing the one-stop work and pulling off the win. So Hypers, I absolutely guarantee, has been doing a lot of practice since then and trying to see how optimal he can get the one-stop to work we know that he puts in a lot of practice time, so he'll have definitely done a lot of simulations and rerunning races just to see if he can do that in a consistently fast manner. So if he's done the work, I imagine that's probably the strategy we'll go for. But Hayes just coming in and setting a great time, putting him up on top of the leaderboard just now.
113.799, and already we're seeing Hayes start to show what he's capable of. The only concern is, like I say, he did do a lap earlier, it was invalidated, it might have just been nothing to be honest, but if it's an indicator that there's a sign of weakness there is an issue that he's got to face. This is a circuit you will get a lot of penalties on very easily. Pampernick is invalidated as well. Hyper's improves. He goes a 113.496. So Hyper's still looking to be the top dog right now, but we still have half the grid. They've not yet put times in. We do have Pampernick back. This is going to be the first race I've seen him do in quite a while. However, if you remember one of the last times he was actually racing, he was very fast. He was able to get himself up into the top 3 at the end of one of the qualifying sessions. And even in some of the races, he actually secured a podium not that long ago. This guy has so much potential left yet to unlock. I cannot wait to see what the end result looks like, but we're not yet. We're not yet there. We've still got a long way to go for him.
Yep, he's certainly got an opportunity today. Now that the pack's kind of been shaken up a little bit, and see if he can start fighting up at the front end of the grid. So yeah, today's an opportunity for him, absolutely, and we'll see what he can end up.
Yonti improves, goes to 113.925, currently sitting in P4. Yellow flag for just drivers getting out of the way, it looks like. We're going to have a look as well for Yolta. Now bear in mind that they were towing each other in the past, and they're in a similar boat, except for Brownie is further up the field. So I'm not sure if they are going to tow, where they're going to do it, but Yolta's going to be the one that loses out there.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, there's nowhere really through Sector 2 you can actually gain any benefit with the tow, so unless they're just trying to go the back straight down towards Sector 3, but it's not exactly a long straight there, so...
He's doing it there, yeah. He's going to dip out of the way.
It's not really much benefit there, but we'll see.
I'm wondering how they're going to fare this out, though, because it doesn't make sense, unless they're intentionally invalidating. That's the other thing. There are going to be drivers who may have gone for that intentionally invalidation whilst you're on the softs because they want to actually qualify on the mediums. I mean, Yolta is definitely not one of them. 113.779 is the time he's chucked in. He is matching almost Hayes. He's only 200ths of a second away from him. Now watch Browning. He's getting a massive tow down the home straight. He's going to dip out of the way. He's going to go straight into it. This time he can't afford to lock up or anything. He has to go straight there. He's done it beautifully through 1-2, but he can't invalidate 10-3, and he didn't. This is looking to be a very good lap already for Brownie.
Yep, that's quite a time that Yolta's managed to put in, and squeezing him right in between Hayes and Hypers. So that's he can be certainly very proud of that, and he just needs to keep his nose clean and see if he can get another time in that's just as comparable.
If my track map is to be believed, Brownie just got purple Sector 1, which is massive, but he has to carry out that pace as well through through the second sector and the third, and he's just invalidated that one little wobble. That's what I was saying about how you have to be so precise through the circuit. I'm hoping he finishes the lap just so I can see how fast he actually could have been. Oh, never mind. That's going to be all ruined now because he just cut the final few, so he's going to be bringing it into the pits. Honestly, this track is going to be the biggest penalty generator, I think even more so than Russia.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of, like coming through the stadium as well, you'll see a lot of people trying their best to try and cut the curbing as much as possible just to get a kind of better run through it, and just a little bit too much on that curb, you're going to invalidate your lap, you're going to potentially get warnings and penalties. So yeah, it's certainly a problem for the drivers are going to have to contend with today.
Just chilling, tried to do a lap, but he has also invalidated. He did improve his previous time, which wasn't that big. It was a banker, of course, and he did a 116.2 now this time. But he will have to go again. He will have to find a way to make everything work. And he's about to start a lap. I think he's just letting this little gaggle of cars behind him through, and then off he goes. Oh, he's giving a tow. Is he giving the tow to Copy, or is he going to receive the tow? I think he's going to be giving it, yeah.
Yep, and the Ferraris as well, they're lining up for the same. Just getting a tow up the straight. You can see how powerful the tow is, though. I mean, that's why the Renault boys have been doing it all season. It can be very, very beneficial to just eke out those extra couple of tenths.
Sorry, copy just got invalidated. I was watching the run through. He was very fast into the corner, and that's the issue. He got a little bit too eager going towards turn 2, cut the corner just a bit too hard, and yeah, invalidation. That's the thing. Again, this circuit is relentless. It will not let you get. There's massive curbs on the insides of these corners that, should you cut it, it will destroy your car, and it will destabilize you massively, where you're going to lose the rear end. And you just can't afford to have that. I think when we start to see the tires drop off, we're going to see a lot of loose ends.
Yeah, that's also the danger with doing the one-stop strategy is, the tires end of life could be very difficult, and then you potentially be running wide, getting more penalties racked up. And even if you are on track faster, by 6 seconds or so, if you're picking up penalty points because you just can't keep the car on the track, that's not going to aid your race at all.
Now, Samidi, again, if the track mark is to be believed, Samidi's just set a purple Sector 2. Now, coming in towards the final corner, everything's been clean so far. He's actually going to get this time on the board, but is it going to be pole? It's not. It's a P3. It's a 1:13.717, but it's not close enough. Danico in P2 with a 1:13.6. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm shooting him down. That's very uncharacteristic from him.
Yep, that was a really great lap from him there. He did get the toe, as I said. Both Sector 1 and Sector 3 are purple though, so he's done a very good job there. But Hypers in that Sector 2 is just 3 tenths faster than him, so that's where the difference is.
So we have just come out of the calm before the storm, as majority of the drivers are still in the pits actually, thinking about what they're going to do. And again, look at that. Toro Rosso have decided they want to start their qualifying, to start their race on the medium tyres. If they can do that and secure the top 10, that would be great to see if they can do that. If they can actually achieve a top 10 position while starting on the mediums, I pretty much guarantee you they're going to get one too. That's just how strong that strategy is.
Yeah, it would be a tough ask, but it's certainly worth a try.
I'd love to see it happen, honestly. Personider, they both have the ability to do it, but I just don't know. Getting into a low 114 is, I can't even get into a low 115, never mind 114. These guys are going to need to really chuck in a huge lap time in order to achieve that, as Yolta is out there. Again, not receiving the toe here. They seem to be doing it towards the end of, like you say, end of Sector 2, start of Sector 3, where they're getting that toe onto Yolta, but the other way around is being applied to Brownie. Damn, the Yolta's just invalidated again. He just ran a bit too hard in turn 3.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, and as you say, it seems to be that they've cut up the track so that they can both get a toe for when they're putting in their lap times, which, on this track, fair enough, makes sense, but obviously the benefit up the home straight is much greater than the benefit into Sector 3, so it seems a bit harsh that they're doing it this way, but obviously they'll have done plenty of practice and they'll know what's working for them.
So Yolta is going to need to figure something out, but he's going to have to go again. He'll have time actually. He could do another outlap if he wants to just give the toe to Brownie, who's right on his back end. I think he might actually be a little bit too close actually. This looks like he's not going to be able to give him the full toe. Maybe I'm wrong. It's pretty close. And they've both got the DRS being wide open. This should actually benefit massively for Brownie. Yeah, it is. This is brilliant. This is really good for the Renault boys. They've shut me up massively and said, actually, this is how you do it. Watch the way now. Through turn 1, 2, 3. Do not make the mistake you made before. Do not invalidate. Oh, I thought that was going to be it. He's kept it clean. We're good. We're all good. Brownie's going to get this now. I reckon a P3 here.
Yep, he's certainly given himself the best opportunity to do so. So this is the moment now where he needs to just make sure that everything he's practiced up to now he can nail. Just keep getting these braking zones correct and just ease it through the rest of the lap. You've already made the time up in the toe substantially. Now you just need to keep consistent.
Yellow flag Sector 1, Sector 2. Again, it's just people getting out of the way, which is the Racing Point drivers there for Safso. And Hayes currently sat P5 on a hot lap right now, it looks like. Unless he's invalidated. Again, purple Sector 2. This is good for Brownie. He is in a position now to really make this work. I didn't see his Sector 1 whether it was purple or not. Can he make purple sector 3. Oh, back end steps out just a bit too much. He's cutting that curb just enough, and he gets P4. He does finally get a time on the board, but he was not. I think he lost so much time just through that final couple of corners.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. But look at the difference between Brownie and Yalta. The Renault boys are neck and neck.
Interesting. Prishnader hasn't been able to get another time on the board, so he's starting at best P17, and all Pampernick, Dan, and Zones actually have to do is just get a time on the board, and they're going to jump up that place anyway and push Prishnader to the back. So likelihood is Prishnader's going to have to do a last 2 challenge. Can he get into the podium again to secure some big Toro Rosso points? I mean, the gap is pretty heavy. Hyper's just set, say, purple sector 2. Can Hypers hold the position away from everyone else coming through the final corner? Is it going to be a big improvement? Is it going to be an improvement at all? Here we go to the line. A 1:13.2. That is our current pole time. Has some idiot got anything to say on it? He's not invalidated, at least not from my screen on the right. That's a bit wide. I thought that would have been an invalidation there. He's keeping this very much in the track limits.
Yeah, that's an incredible time there from Hypers. That is throwing down the gauntlet and just telling everyone else to chase him now. There is no way in his mind can he be beaten right now. That's 4/10 clear from second place currently. He'll be really proud with that lap.
Now, Copy is the last driver to set a time on the board, it looks like. Here we go through the final of the few corners. Coming out of it, needs to get a nice solid exit here. Really charge up to the start line. It does improve. It's a big improvement. It's P6, but look how stacked they are. From right the way through, actually, but mainly from P3 onwards, right down to P11. We're literally talking 2/10. That is so close.
Yeah, this is very exciting. That the run down to turn 1 is going to be very spicy, shall we say.
And that's the thing. It's kind of like Russia. I said this earlier. It's very much like Russia in the way that if you have the toe going in towards turn 1, the likelihood is you're going to get the pass. Mexico has a phenomenally long run towards turn 1, and it is a perfect straight. There's no kinking it like what there is in Russia. You know, you've got to make sure your starts are crystal clean. So Hypers will get pole. Is Hayes there? 2/10 back in P2. Danico P3. Somebody at P4. Get owned in P5. Copy P6. Brownie and Yalta 7th and 8th with Yonti there in 9th. Zones rounds out the top 10. Pampernick getting best of the rest with Dennis there in P12. Dan P13 and Yenab just breaking that 1 second margin in P14. Beaker P15. Safso 16th. Noosa 17th, Wemels 18th, JC 19th, and Preshnader, who couldn't get a time set on the mediums that was fast enough, will start at the back of the grid. Okay, now I haven't done it in the qualifying 2 yet, but I am going to do it this time. I really want to know where your 1-2-3 is at the end of this race.
To be honest, Hypers looked pretty untouchable in qualifying there, and I think he will have learned a lot from earlier in the week in terms of strategy. So I'm going to give it to Hypers, but I was really quite impressed with Hayes as well. So I'll say Hypers, Hayes, and maybe Preshnader could do the podium. I mean, we've seen it before in previous races from Nicholas Longy. I'm going to back Preshnader to come through the field and actually maintain third spot in the podium.
So, I'm going to say something. My prediction today may just throw you off. I think some idiot, if he can replicate what he did on Tuesday, I think he's going to win this race. Honestly, he outsmarted Hypers so hard. It comes down to, again, how much has Hypers done since Tuesday to today? How much has he practiced? How much has he researched? How much has he really focused on tyre management? Because just by some idiot taking the softs that bit further and only doing a one-stop, he was able to make it to the end of the Grand Prix and still be a few seconds ahead of Hypers without any issues. It was very, very good from him. The two-star strategy was what Hypers went through. Is he going to go for it again today? I don't know. But I'm fully backing some idiot to take P1 today with Hypers in P2 and I think Hayes in P3. The Dennis of the Day voting will open at the beginning of lap 25. So make sure that when we get to the beginning of lap 25, you do exclamation mark vote in the chat and you decide who you think is going to be the Dennis of the Day. Yeah,
actually, you know, as you said, somebody had done a really great job. earlier in the week, but I know how much Hyper's practices, and for me, I think he will have learned a lot of lessons from that race, and I think he'll very much have come back much stronger. So it'll be interesting to see. But
so
yeah, well, some of it's definitely going to be in the fight, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the thing. I think Some Idiot is actually probably going to be the most smartest person on the circuit today. He has very fast race pace in general anyway, but his knowledge is the bit that stands out for him. His strategy going into these races makes a massive difference. And obviously now these guys have got race engineers by their side as well. Reviewing all of the telemetry of the drivers on the circuit will help them work out who's going to do what and where. I think today might be the day that Dennis actually deserves Driver of the Day vote. We'll see, because obviously we've not even started the race yet. But I saw him the other day racing here. He had so much left to show, and he just wasn't able to. That wasn't his fault, and he ended up getting involved in a situation that wasn't his fault. I think Dennis will be the man to watch, but P12 where he starts right now, we'll have to see where he finishes. But we are on the starting lineup. The lights will be on in just a second. There we go. And Hypers will be the one who's going to be leading us away off the start here. And it's go time here in Mexico. Hypers needs to have a killer start. Hayes is going to be looking for him too. Danico has actually got a really good run, but so is Some Idiot. They actually might be able to pass both of these drivers here. This is how big the toe is. We're going 3 wide in towards turn 1. Hypers is going to be stuck on the outside going into it. How is he going to hold them both off? It's going to be so tight between them. A little bit of a rotation there for Danico. He's kept himself a massive touch there, but they're still alive. They're still keeping everything under control. There's an Alfa Romeo. That's Some Idiot getting a little bit too sideways there from some contact into the rear of his cars. Yolta now up to P6. Copy up to P5. And Some Idiot, who's had a bit of a brutal start here, is going to go around the outside of Yolta. He's also going to go around the outside and the inside now to Copy. A little bit of a touch there onto the rear of Copy, but I think everything, especially in the top 10, is also clean.
Yep, and get on there, managing to sneak his way through up to P2. That's a Mercedes 1-2 right now. That couldn't have got any better for them for this start.
Danico up into P3, Get-On into P2. Mercedes are looking so good right now. This is phenomenal. We'll have to keep an eye out though, because remember, this is only lap 1. When the tyres start to drop, that's the bit where everybody's going to start to panic. We have got the DRS being available on lap 3. However, we're not going to see it until lap 4 because the detection zone is before the start-finish straight, so they will not be able to use it. They'll have to wait by and see what happens. Hazer in P4 will actually be able to attack. I'm very impressed by how Hypers managed to hold the P1 despite how 3 wide he got into turn 1.
Yep, he's certainly managed to keep his nose clean and maintain position. He was just squeezed Danny enough to make him not have a good line, but he never made it so that he was going to be pushing him off track, and he kept it very clean.
So, despite the trend that's been set for the last couple of races, no safety car lap 1. So this is a good start for us. Preshneider, like I say, into the pits. Big sad for him. He's going to have a hell of a comeback if he can pull this back. You know, we've seen it in real life racing, where if you remember back to a particular Canada race with a certain Jensen Button, he managed to do such a huge recovery to take the win. We'd need to see something almost at that level for Preshneider to be able to achieve a nice bunch of points for himself. Copy though, P6. Some Idiot up now to P5 again, and he's going to be trying to close in on Hayes before the DRS becomes available and the front 4 start to pull away.
Yep, and Preshneider they're putting on the hard tyres, so he's going to hope that those can get him some decent pace all the way up to the end of this race. But yeah, this is just not worked out for him now, and he'll be hoping for a safety car or something to try and pull him back towards the pack.
So DRS, like I say, has been enabled. They will not see it on this lap though, as there's only one detection zone and it's before the start line. Yolta and Copy though, they are very close. Is Yolta going to go for a send? No, he's decided to sit back and watch, and I think that's the right thing because they've got another little straight here. He just has to get the exit of Dreams through here, and he's actually got it, but the back end steps out. Copy was a bit too slow there, so Yolta had to back out, and as a result will actually, coincidentally, save himself P6, but he is right on that limit of DRS to Some Idiot. He cannot afford to drop out of it, otherwise he will be a sitting duck to all of the cars that are lined up behind him.
Yep, and there is a nice big train there that's coming through, so one mistake from any of these drivers and it's just opening themselves up to fall down the grid.
So Hypers P1, Geton P2, Danico P3, Hayes at the end of this train for the race lead. I mean, Summit is still there. He's not, by any stretch of the imagination, out of this running for P1. Remember, he's the strategy guy. He's the guy you rely on to outplay everyone ahead of him. I've just seen Get Owned there take the corner a bit too tight there, so likelihood is he probably got a warning, and that might be a sign of things to come.
Yep, there'll be plenty of warnings, plenty of penalties on this track. It's pretty much unavoidable, but unfortunately for the usual runners of people who get penalties, they're probably going to accrue a lot more than standard. But a lot of the drivers that you would say would be clean are probably also going to be getting a few penalties this race.
And that's the thing, it's such a hard circuit to keep consistent on. If anybody can achieve it, that in itself is already a very well done job. I'm looking at the likes of Yonti for the captain consistency sort of title to go to. Zones and Copy swapping places as well, as Yolta's already made a pass on Copy. And again, that's what I'm saying. Copy lost out on the DRS to some idiot. As a result of that, he became a sitting duck for the cars behind him. Yolta went through, Zones went through. He now got Brownie behind him as well. Yonti is also in this train, and Dennis, who's gained a place so far, will also likely be able to attack any of these drivers ahead, especially if something goes even slightly wrong for any of them ahead.
Yep, and just an extra thought on the standings in terms of the drivers' championship. With Get Owned here as like a rear gunner towards Hypers, that could make make things a lot easier for Hypers in terms of getting this win. And
yep,
with Infamous not actually here this week, if Hypers gets the win, he's the drivers' champion.
That's a big moment then, isn't it, really? Let's be honest. So Hayes P4, some idiot P5, and he's actually losing time now. 1.8 seconds is the gap to those ahead, and that's mainly down to the DRS that's available to the drivers ahead. They're able to just break away even further, and somebody hasn't got anything to recover with. So that's where he sits as it stands. But again, remember, strategy. That's the bit that matters here on this circuit. 2-stop, 1-stop. Who knows what these guys are going to check in here, and who knows if they're even going to go for a hard tire.
Yep, it's the hard tires usually try to be avoided as much as possible in this game. It's just the pace difference is so vast, but sometimes it is the correct call. Try and get that extra bit of life and try and cut down on a pit stop. So we'll see what these drivers manage to do. But yeah, usually you'll want to be trying and do a 2-stop with the mediums, as you said. So we'll see what happens.
I think Summit is going to still continue to do the 1-stop strategy, and maybe the reason he's losing this time is because he's just managing his tire wear and not actually trying to push as hard as he can. That's probably the right thing to do in this scenario. I think a lot of these guys ahead as well, this battle for P1 to 4, I think they're not actually trying to pass each other. Hayes has actually got the yellow fuel warning light on, which tells us he currently doesn't have enough fuel to take it to the end of the race. Danico is actually starting to lose time to the guys up in the top 2. He's almost at the 1 second margin, which is a bit of a concern for him. He's recovered it. He's back into 7/10, but he has to get really good run here for the remainder of this lap to keep himself together. And Yolta, the first of the drivers to get a time penalty, I think.
Yep, it's not the first, no, but he's unfortunately got picked one up. That's so right now, as far as I'm aware, I think Danny, Yolta, and Dan all have 3 seconds on the penalties, but they will certainly not be the last people to get penalties. So, and there's Get Owned with the 3-second penalty himself. So,
yeah.
Yep, as we were saying, it's pretty much every driver on the grid today is going to be picking these up.
Yeah, Zern's got one as well, so that's also not going to help his cause. Copy is another driver who is captain consistency when it comes to time penalties. Dan's actually had a really tight run through the S's. This is where Beaker could potentially get him here. A little bit of wobble there. He's going to actually go for it. Coming in towards the stadium complex, and he's going to actually be able to put himself in P13. And now it's Red Bull 12-13, but the gap is just so large between the Red Bulls.
Yep, Beaker's now got the job of trying to get up to the back of his teammate, but he's got all these drivers behind him that are going to be trying to take them down the home straight with the DRS helping the slipstream, so he might have shot himself in the foot just making that move a little bit too early.
So Hayes has brought himself into the pits after lap 6. He's going to be doing a 2-stop strategy. Has to. There's no way the mediums will take it to the end here, so he's going to have to go again. More likely we'll go into a fresh set of mediums later on in this race. This is starting to show what the real plans are here.
Yep, and as you say, I think the top runners are trying to just conserve their tyres, because actually you know, we know the pace of Hypers, but it's actually Yalta right now with the fastest lap. So you would say that it's probably most likely just maintaining the grip and trying to eke out every little bit of performance that he can get from the tyres and just the tyre life.
And just kind of going back to what you were saying about Mercedes and how, you know, having the rear gunner of Get Earned being in the position he's in right now, this is still great no matter what. If he keeps cutting that corner so severely, I've seen that every lap so far from Get Earned. He cuts that corner really hard. Hypers is into the pits, so he's doing this same old strategy he did before, and this is where some idiot took over. This is literally a repeat of exactly what happened on Tuesday. Some idiot took the softs very far into the stint. I think it was like a lap 12 or something along those lines before he finally decided to pit and then take onto the mediums and go to the end of the race. It was a very, very long way into the race. I think some idiot. I'm so in belief that he will be race winner today. Sorry.
Yep, I think Hypers was trying to cover off Hayes there, but it doesn't look like it's working out for him. Hayes looks like he might actually get this, and he's just too far back for the braking zone, but Hypers is actually stuck on the hard tyre. Well, I told you that he would have been running some tests and studying and trying to make the most of the situation, but I never expected that, honestly. But again, he's the one that puts in the practice. We know that he'll have done multiple runs to try and get the absolute best time that he can do. So he believes that these hard tyres are the correct move, and that will allow him to do a faster one stop than somebody will do.
So exactly, that's the situation now. The difference is though is that Samidi will be on mediums, which is the faster tyre overall between them and hards. Obviously, they can go very far into the race too. The difference, though, is down to that tyre management. Somebody has shown already in the past that he has really good tyre management skills. But when it came to that end of that medium stint, his pace dropped severely. And now, again, when it comes to Hypers on these hards now, this is the bit that we haven't seen. I've not seen Hypers drive this circuit on the hard tyres. He will still have crazy fast pace. It's just, is it going to be enough to keep up with some idiot's mediums and then pass him again later? He's also reliant on not getting any penalties. That was the other bit that held him back as well.
Yep, and I think Hypers has actually just made a really good move here. He's let Hayes go by, and this will just allow Hypers on the slower tyre to just use Hayes to bring himself back towards the pack. That could be a great idea.
Dan and Buemos had a very close moment. They almost touched. Actually, the same thing's going on between Bika and Safso. Safso's made a move on Bika. These hard tyres are really not working for Bika at all, and it's just an indicator as to how much better the tyres are when it comes to the mediums in comparison to the hards. They have so much more grip this early on in the race, obviously. Still 8 laps in. They're about the same age for the majority of the drivers on the circuit, but the hards will go so much further, and that's the difference maker. Are you actually going to lose around however long it is in the pits? I think it's like 22, 23 seconds in these pits. So if you can recover that time, that is going to be massive.
Yep, and this is the thing I was saying as well, that, you know, some idiot made an absolute blinder on a move on Tuesday, but doing it on Tuesday opened the door for Hypers to learn from that for today, and right now it looks like Hypers is actually, you know, he's the one that's in charge.
Dan and Buemos again into the braking zone. Dan was trying to get the later break. Buemos is having to take a really tight line. He ran wide through turn 1. He's gone tight in turn 2 and 3, and it's allowed Dan to be in the position he's in right now. But again, hard tyres on Dan's car. He's trying to make the move, and already look at the pace gain he's got. The DRS being available to him and coming into the corner. They're going to still be side by side. Buemos is trying to get a little bit faster through the area, and still Dan round the outside. He's going to have to do it for 2 more corners, and this is allowing the drivers behind to get right onto the back of this. They are still side by side. Dan may have actually finally got the position. Yes, he has, up to P5. But look at this. Safso, who passed Beaker earlier, is now on the back of Buemos. Buemos, who's shown a little bit of sign of weakness. His back end stepped out a bit too much, and he seems to be throwing the car through this S section pretty hard, is allowing Safso to look for the opportunity.
Yep, absolutely. He's certainly making the most of the situation in front of him, and Buemos' car is just looking very unstable right now, so Safso can definitely try and get up towards the turn 1 and just use the DRS and overtake, but obviously Buemos still has the slipstream in the DRS as well, so we'll see. It'll be a complete drag race.
All right, keep an eye on the drivers in the mid-pack as it stands. Hayes is going to be working his way through. Hyper's actually lost DRS to Hayes. That's, again, a symbol of how different these tyres actually are in terms of pace. Keep an eye out for Hayes challenging everyone ahead and passing them as quick as he possibly can. If he can, the further he can break away from Hypers, the better it's going to be when he has to go into the second set of mediums. Ultimately, he has no choice now but to go onto another set of mediums later. I don't think he can take the mediums far enough to then go into another set of softs. I've been proven wrong in the past. I'm likely going to be proven wrong again. We'll see how Hayes tackles this race.
Yeah, the tyres are actually... There's so many different strategies at play right now.
Hyper's getting a penalty alert.
That was going to happen, yep. The penalties are definitely coming in.
Alright, we'll keep an eye on Hyper's pace later. Again, he's on the hard, so he should be in a position to attack later. Hayes is going for a move down the inside here of Noosa. It's going to be into the stadium complex. Noosa's going to get pushed out wide, but he's going to get the move done. Hayes up to P8 and already in with a chance to attack Beaker coming up towards turn 1. The gap's a little bit further away, so he's not going to get the most of the tow. Somebody has decided to pit, so has Danico. Keep an eye now on the strategy and pace. I called it earlier that somebody was going to do the same thing he did last time. I still believe strongly that somebody will be able to recover this, but Hypers has got the massive difference when it comes to physical track position. Buemos and Dan going at it one more time, same places as before. Dan's going to have to run seriously wide. He's going to be alongside of him still. I think Buemos is the one that's got the DRS. Yes, he has. So Buemos should recover and get P2, and Dan will just have to sit behind him for now.
Yep, he's but in a good position, Dan. He's got these hard tyres as well, so
Hayes
running along, potentially going soft.
Hayes had a nightmare. I don't know exactly what's caused this, but he's gone off into the wall and he's lost his right end plate. That's his race pretty much done.
Yep, that's completely ruined his race, and again he was the one that was attempting that alternate strategy to Hypers and some idiot, so we could have seen if he could have pulled that off, but that's now put that plan in the bin.
I mean, it's sad, to be honest, that he's in this scenario. You know, he was looking really good, in with a chance of getting some massive points for the constructor. Safso is currently the one who's looking to do the same thing. P4 as it stands, yeah, granted he's going to have to pit and he's going to have to swap to another set of mediums, but still, P4 right now, actually still with the chance of getting onto Dan as well. I think Safso is going to get some big points today.
Yeah, it's certainly a good entry into the Racing Point team, putting himself in a good position to make the most of kind of the situation of all the drivers around him, and he could get a good haul.
We'll see what happens. Yonti with a 3-second time penalty as well. That's going to affect him pretty hard. I mean, he's outside of the points as it stands, and he's 4 laps in on his mediums. Whether or not he's going to try and take those to the end is a big question mark. I highly doubt he'd be able to achieve that. That's a very long way to go on mediums. Surely that's puncture territory easily when you get towards the end.
Yeah, did we actually find out from Tuesday how much tyre life some idiot had left in those medium tyres?
I did not. I would love to have known, because I imagine they were screaming in pain. He must have surely been in the puncture territory. I could not get the word out there at all. Hyper's actually already into the back of the battle for P3. This is going to be pretty good for him considering where he stands right now. It's also concerning that he's stuck here too, but somebody is so far down. He's all the way down in P14, and how many seconds back is that? I mean, it's a big train, yeah, but we're still talking about, what was it, 5, 6? Anyway, we'll come back to it in a second because Hypers is going for a move here on Safso. It's going to be a late break. Safso has actually gone deep into the corner, into the side of Dan. That's a rotation. Hypers having to do a little bit of avoidance there to make sure he doesn't get tied up in that collision. Hypers read that situation perfectly. He had a feeling that was going to be a battle of the late breaks, and he actually decided, I'm just going to break a little bit earlier than you and let you just do what you got to do. Safso went a bit too deep into it, lost control of the car, into the side of Dan. Didn't affect Dan, but still Safso now, after I jinxed him, saying he was going to get some big points, has fallen down to P11.
Yep, that commentator's curse coming into play yet again. But yeah, Hypers played that very smart. You know, he knew that right now he's effectively still P1 because the strategy he's on, he's doing incredibly well. So he could just take it easy, just watch the battle in front, and then just pick up the pieces of what was happening. So he played that very smart, and now he's just making his race easier every time.
Oh, Oh, Yonti! This is going to be a huge battle going into the stadium. Cup 3 wide going into it. There's got to be contact, surely. Southsell's been run out wide. Samidia's there, and there's contact into the back of Samidia. Yonti runs a bit too deep, and that's the back end step out for Samidia. They will lose places. Southsell will climb back up to P12, which is, I guess, a little blessing for him at the minute, but he's coming into the pits. It's not going to make that much of a difference, but now Yonti loses out to Brownie. Brownie's actually about to attack Samidia. Samidia realizes, goes defensive on the inside, and comes back over again onto the racing line, and now he can't move again. That's the problem. Similar boat, though, for Brownie, who's having to defend from Yonti. Yonti's actually having to defend from Copy. Copy's going around the outside. It's going to be a very hard braking zone for both of them. They make it through okay. No contact so far. Copy's still there, still alongside of him, and he's going to actually make the move stick up into P14 now. Brownie won't actually gain anything, and Samidia doesn't really lose anything.
Yep, and Get On managed to just take Pika there as well, so Get On's trying to get up to the back of his teammate again. A really, really good race for the Mercedes boys. But there's battles all through the field right now.
So Yenab loses out to Yolta. Yolta up to P10 now. The difference is those tyres, look how much fresher they are on the hards. They'll be consistent for longer. And Yenab's starting to feel the pain that he's got going on right now. Brownie getting a 3-second time penalty. Ultimately, we don't really... I mean, you might have a penalty rundown, I guess. Will you be able to do a penalty rundown in a bit?
Yes, I can do a penalty rundown.
You may have to do it now, go for it.
Panpelnik 3 seconds, Buemos 3 seconds, Hypers 3 seconds, Dan 6 seconds, Get Owned 3 seconds, Bika 3 seconds, Danny 3 seconds, and then Zone 6 seconds and Yolta 6 seconds. 3 seconds for Brownie, and Yontes 3 seconds, Preschneider 3 seconds, JC 3 seconds, Safso 3 seconds, and Hayes 3 seconds. So lots of penalties all around.
Yeah. The one person I didn't hear the name of there, which I'm assuming is because he hasn't got any, Noosa.
Yep, Noosa currently has 0 penalties.
So Noosa is in with a big chance of gaining some places. But again, though, he started the race on these medium tyres. He will have to pit no matter what. Whatever tyre he decides to go to, whether he should go for a 2-stop strategy, whether he goes for the 1-stop, no matter what. Dan and Get-On going side by side together. It's going to be Get-On trying to make the move, and I think he's going to make that one work. Yes, he is. Up to P4 now. 2.1 second gap to his teammate. But ultimately, this is still a huge day for Mercedes.
Yep, Mercedes have played this perfectly. Get On had the start of dreams and managed to gain 3 positions, and from there he's just held the pack back, and him and Hypers have just been leading the way. So keep an eye out for all of the battling, all of the penalties that are going to be applied later. But Brownie's actually under he's under attack and attacking at the same time. Yenab is the one who's going to be the receiving of all of the above, because look, Brownie, Copy, Yonti right there on the back of him. And this toe is going to be huge for all of them. Yenab is going to be the one who's going to lose it. I think he's going to lose 2 places here because Copy's right there too. And the double toe is going to be massive for him. He's trying to defend down the inside. He knows how important it is that he tries to hold the inside line for turn 1, 2, and 3. And I think ultimately it's going to be all for nothing because Brownie's going to go around the outside of him. Yenab's now down into P13. Copy, ready to attack as well. And remember, Yenab won't get DRS here. Oh, back end step out as well. Copy surely got him. Yeah, that's the issue with this track is the detection zone. Unfortunately, it means that you're going to lose out. You've got a double whammy with the such a long straight DRS open slipstream, especially on the train. You know, you've got people attacking you. You've getting a worse line, and then the DRS opens again, allowing them to just fly on by and get out your range.
Yonti, Yenab, Copy. That is a very close battle between them as it stands. I'm not seeing any changes as it's, coming into the stadium complex. Yenab actually, he's going to have to go defensive yet again. Yonti's going to have to take a very wide line through here. He's gone just a bit tight onto Yenab. Yenab does have wing damage on left-hand side, I've seen. I don't know where he got that, but he has lost the end plate, which is going to cause disaster when it comes to any right-hand corners that require aerodynamical grip, which is a lot of the S section.
Yep, but he's wanting to just hold out for a few more laps to try and get the one-stop working, go into the soft tyres. He'll get his wing replaced then, but he's just going to be losing so much time just now that maybe the 2-stop might actually be the right call.
Danico and Dan, both the Dans having a battle, and it's going to be Dan in the orange McLaren who's going to be keeping himself ahead for now. 17 laps on the hards, they're going to be pretty worn. Danico wanting to try and recover. He didn't actually use DRS there, throw that second DRS zone. I think maybe he's just realizing I can't pass him here. There's no real benefit to me doing it. But Noosa and Yolta going side by side. The bit of a scrap, and that's going to push Noosa onto the outside. Yolta is up now into P9. Bit of a back end step out there. I don't know if that was contact between Samidia and Noosa. Simidic, again, trying to recover what he's already lost, but look at the gap between him and Hypers, because that's ultimately where we're looking, and he's not in sight of the pass. Hypers is going to be able to take these hards to the end now, and he's going to love life.
Yep, he's, as I said, we know how much he practices, and he'll have run a lot of different simulations after Tuesday, and he seems to have found the winning strategy for him.
So Noosa still holding Simidic back, getting a time penalty for his troubles as well. Simidic should be able to pass him pretty easily now, but he has to get this done very quickly, and ideally he wants to get back onto the DRS of Yolta. The DRS is available now. He's not gonna get that toe. That's the issue here. When you're so close to the back of someone as you approach the DRS zone, you're not gonna get that bit of toe that you need in order to secure the position very quickly and easily. Danico gets the pass on Dan, so he's now up to P5. Yonte's just got past Yenab, and he's up now to P14, but 3.6 second gap between him and Copy means it's really difficult now for Yonte to recover this.
Yep, he's luckily he'll have the DRS here to try and get a bit closer, but obviously in the train in front, they've all got DRS, they've all got slipstream, so right now Yonte just wants to try and build up a gap to Yenab.
Brownie on the back of Noosa. Noosa doing a pretty decent job to fight, but he's now outside of the DRS of Simidic. Now, obviously, he is on much older mediums, so it's still good that he's able to be where he is right now, but when he does eventually pit, he's going to drop like a stone. I think we're going to see him sort of around just chilling in the sort of area of the circuit. Just turns out a bit of a nightmare. He did have to pit really early on in this race. I think it was lap 4. He had to pit to get a wing replacement, and obviously went onto the hard tyres. I'm almost certain you can't take the hards to the end here. That's surely too far to go. 16 laps already. Boimels is in, 19 laps in, and so is Beaker.
Yep, and Hypers there was actually just getting ready to size of a move to take Boimels anyway, so that worked out perfect timing for him. He managed to get the DRS, and now he can just continue on his way and go after Panpernic. But right now he's sitting pretty. Panpernic still obviously needs to pit, so Hypers and Get Owned are currently laughing in those cockpits.
Copy, Noosa, Brownie still going at it. Noosa's actually recovered a little bit of time and is in the DRS zone of Brownie, but he doesn't have it yet. And here comes a send from Copy. This is down the inside. It's going to be hard around the outside here. He doesn't want to run wide because you can so easily get a penalty. He does in fact run wide, but he's not going to get the position either way. Unless he gets a cut back here, then Noosa will deny. But Noosa's lost a lot of time now. He's no longer in DRS of Brownie, all because that little bit of scrap in there. Copy saw an opportunity. It just didn't work out.
Yep, and Yalta here is looking like he's wanting to get a move on and try and get through past Dan, but couldn't really do it through Sector 2, and now he's just coming through the stadium. We'll be holding this position until he can get onto the home straight so that he can get the DRS and just go after him. There's a little bit of a gap between Dan and Zones, so I believe Yalta should manage to get this. I don't even think Dan's managed to get the DRS, so this should be an easy overtake. Oh no, he has got the DRS, so just within that 1 second margin come the detection point.
But he hasn't got the toe, and that's what Yalta currently has. He's so close to him. He's going to have to go for a huge late break. Massive lockup on the right side. Contact. Wheel to wheel. No damage on either car, it looks like. But again, DRS will be available to both of these drivers. Yalta will have a better toe, but Dan's got the better exit, and that's allowed him to stay P6, and Yalta won't have a response.
Yep, but obviously Dan still needs to stop, so he'll know this, but he'll be trying to build up a nice gap between Yalta and Zones. He'll be trying to help his teammate out just now before he ends up coming into his pits. Obviously we'll want to try and take these hards just a little bit further so he can put the soft tyre on and go the soft to the end, and hopefully manage to gain a few positions back with the much grippier tyre than those around him.
Now I'm just looking at Panpernic because he's still P1, obviously, hasn't yet pit like you said. Does need to go onto whatever tyres he decides to go onto. At this point in time now, I think he's in a position where he could switch to softs. Probably not going to do so until around about lap 26, maybe a little bit later if he can push it that far. But either way, if his pace can remain about the same, maybe a little bit slower, he should pit and get out around about lap 10, P10, P11. But the fact that there are still people behind him that are still needing to yet pit, this is looking massive for Panpernic.
Yeah, he's able to gain a lot here, and as I said, you'll be on the faster tyre at the end, and with all the trains that are around just now, he could pick his way through them. So he could gain a lot of points today.
Somebody manages to make a move on Yalta. 2.1 seconds now to the driver ahead, and this is starting to become a question mark as to Does some idiot have the pace now to bring himself back up to Hypers? I mean, looking at the maths, if I do very quick maths, it's around about 10 seconds the gap between Hypers and some idiot. It's a very difficult area to recover now. I think Hypers is natural pace, especially the fact that he's on these hards where he's going to be comfortable for longer. I think Hypers has pretty much secured this.
Yeah, unless Hypers makes a big mistake, starts picking up more penalties. But right now, as it stands, that 3-second time penalty he's got, it's not going to affect him at all. You know, everyone around him other than some idiot all have penalties, so
yeah,
it would be a tough ask. It would be a tough ask for him.
But I mean, even some idiot still has a chance here to close it in. He just has to get within that range of Hypers, and then he should be able to gain on it. But that's the hard part, is getting into that range. It's not that simple, you know. You have to try as hard as you can to be as quick as you can, but you also can't afford to get a penalty yourself. Otherwise, it's all going to be for nothing. So some idiot with a lot of pressure on his shoulders, especially with a fast Renault chasing him down as well. Oh, never mind, his backend's just stepped out for Yalta, and that's going to be a big gap stepped up there for some idiot. Even with the DRS, it's going to recover a little bit. I just don't think it's going to be enough for Yalta to be able to attack some idiot later in this race.
Yep, some idiot right now, he's had a difficult race, you know, getting kind of caught up in the pack a little bit, but the strategy worked well for him before, and he's still going to get a good haul of points. And as I say, he's kept it very clean. So certainly the two drivers in front of him both have 6 seconds of penalties. So he'll be taking their positions. So just needs to see if he can keep reeling in those Mercedes. But right now, I think the strategy call from Mercedes has been excellent, and I fully expect them to finish 1-2.
And this just shows the amount of time and focus that these guys put into it. You know, Hypers had a very different race strategy on Tuesday. Comes into this race and chooses to go for a soft hard combo, and it works beautifully. You know, this kind of just showing that this is actually the best strategy you could ask for. You know, the one-stop soft hards is definitely working for him, and get earned. You know, P2-3, although realistically that's a net P1-2. A massive leap for Mercedes when it comes to the constructor standings.
Yep, absolutely massive, and right now, obviously, Get1's got that penalty as well, so some idiot could potentially get to P2 if he just gets within range, but yeah, I'm going to say that it should be P1 Hypers, P2 Get1, and then P3 some idiot, which again is a really good haul of points for some idiot, but Mercedes absolutely having a perfect weekend.
Yeah, and it's a sad time really for Haas. You know, obviously they were in with a shot of getting you know, the staying in that constructors battle. The big slap, I mean, that's a big slap. Somebody getting a penalty there, that's a big slap in itself. But the big slap I was more referring to is that Mercedes are going to be so much further ahead with all those points that Haas are not, even if they get a point here, which is where currently Yonti sits, it's just going to be nothing in comparison to how much Mercedes are going to gain out of this. You know, Get-Earned has been criticized in the past for his race pace. Today it's looking really good. Now the driver of the day voting is now open, so do exclamation mark vote in the chat to cast your vote, and we'll see who gets it. See when Dennis gets it is more what I was going for.
Yep, and I don't actually know if
Hold that thought, because Danico and Get Earned are actually going to go for it, and Danico's going to get the move done on Get Earned. Now this is going to help out the fight, but it's not going to really change too much. Get Earned is still P4 now, and in terms of their points, it's a little bit of a point dip, but it's still massive points for Mercedes.
Yeah, well, I think on track, obviously Danico's in front, but he's got the extra 3 seconds of penalties, so if Get-On just manages to stick with him, obviously there's still a long way left in this race, and there's every time for those tyres that Danico's on to completely drop off, and again Get-On should have pretty similar pace throughout until the end of this race, so he could definitely still gain back that position.
So Dan on the back of Yanab. Oh no, that's just a bit too hard there for Dan. He went down the inside. The gap is just not there. And like I said, you can't go too wide in the S section, as Dan has just proven. Oh, very scary rejoin there from Dan as well. Almost causes JC to have a crash. Kept it well enough out of the way. Bit of code brown there for JC, that's for sure.
Yep, absolutely, and that's Panpernik just came into the pits there, and he's came out in P9 just behind Yonte. So, but he has got on the freshest pair of boots and the grippiest pair of boots. So he's going to be wanting to try and make his way back through that pack, catch up to those drivers in front. But it should be nice and easy for him to get past a few of them. 17 lap old medium tyres on Yonte, so I imagine it won't take too long. And he's already going for a dive.
Oh.
Nearly. But you can just see the difference in the tyre grip here. He's making moves where you would never expect to see it. And that's one position gained, and he'll be trying to get up to the back of Brownie.
So P8 for Panpernik. He did start, I think, P11, which is a great start for him to climb 3 places overall so far. We've still got 10 laps to go, and he's on the fastest compound available to these drivers. Yonte getting another 3-second time penalty will assist him even more, and he should now start to work very quickly on the closing the gap down to Brownie. And then after that, it's not even that far apart. It's a 1.8 between him and Yolte. Yolte's in with a battle for some idiot as well. And as soon as he gets involved in that, that's going to be DRS territory. He's going to love life. But Gerhard in the DRS of Danico has moved his ERS to mode 0, which tells us very clearly that he is not looking to make the pass just yet. We had our only retirement so far, which is Dan. And as you can see, that was so close for Gerhard. I thought he was going to ride right into him there. That would have been a very, very bad situation for him. Preschneider and Yenab, they're actually going for a little move as well. It's going to be Preschneider passing Yenab. Not yet in the points. Bit too far out, I think, now for Yenab. Sorry, for Preschneider to gain anything out of this. I think he's just kind of just racing to see where he finds himself. Penalties may still affect things quite massively if he can bring that gap down even more. And the fact that Dennis and Yonte are on such old tyres, especially Yonte, 18 laps on the mediums, his pace is going to drop very hard.
Yep, and Preschneider actually only managed to get 17 laps on those hards. So whether that was an issue with tyre wear or whether he just decided that he wanted to come in and try and get some faster boots on, I don't know. But yeah, he's not had a great day today. But he still can potentially get some points back.
Can I just point out how fast Panpernik is? He's already past Brownie. When I last checked in on him, he was, 2.5 seconds away from Brownie, and he brought that gap down very quickly. He's now set the fastest lap, so that's another point in his pocket as well. He's 1.8 away from Yolte, who is still in attack range of some idiot, who, granted, doesn't have any penalties, but is not really looking like he's going to be able to close in on anybody here. Maybe Zones, potentially. If Zones has a bit of a wobble, there might be an opportunity there. But Panpernik is flying.
Yep, and Copy just steals that fastest lap off him, so obviously Copy being out the top 10, he won't get that point, but yeah, in terms of Panpernik against the rest of the field, he's over a second faster than most people out there just now, nearly a second and a half faster than basically everyone in front, so that's working out for him just now, and he's got... Those tyres should be nice and grippy at least until the end of this race. So you can see him probably gaining another few points, making his way up, potentially P4. Maybe he could get P3. It'd be a fantastic return for him.
And that'll be a bit of a whoops. If anybody's voted already on Driver of the Day and they've not selected Panpernik, maybe you want to rethink. Because Panpernik is currently smashing it. He's gaining so many places. He is absolutely tearing this track apart. And he's about to attack Yolte, who's... granted, still has DRS on some idiot ahead, but he doesn't have the pace that he needs right now. And these softs are going to be able to stop later. They're going to be able to corner faster. And that's it. You know, Yolte knows it. He backs out. Says, just go. I'm going to just stay near you. I don't want to fight you. It doesn't benefit me if I do. Maybe I can use you to attack some idiot as you're about to do the same thing to him. It's a question of is how Panpernik going to do this? Is he going to sit behind some idiot throughout the majority of his lap? Is he going to try and do this? Oh, that was a very ambitious attempt to brake so late and go for a send on the inside. He still kept himself out of the way of some idiot. Oh no, that's a bit too deep, Panpernik. I can see what you're trying to achieve, but that was just a bit too aggressive.
Yeah, it was a little bit aggressive, but he tried to just make the exact same move that he had done on Yonte's stick, but unfortunately it doesn't work. But he really wants to just get a move on, and a bit touch and go, you know, it could have been left a little bit more space, but somebody knows that he can't really fight him, but at the same time, you know, you've got to be clever in terms of how you're doing your overtaking and how you're attacking, and that was a bit of over-aggressive.
Over-aggressive bit greedy. I think he sees the lap counter in the top left and goes, I have to go. I can't wait now. Yenab's had a bit of an issue. Has he had a puncture? I think he might have had a puncture. Yes, he has. Rear left popped. He's in trouble now. He's going to slowly crawl back to the pits, but he's going to be dead last. And he's got wing damage, so he's going to have to get a replacement wing, a replacement tyre. I wouldn't be surprised if Yenab just says, nah, I've had enough.
Yep, so that's 28 laps on those medium tyres, so that seems to be the cut-off. That's the danger zone right there.
Do you want to tell Yonti that?
Yes, he's going to be getting awfully close.
I mean, like we say, taking these tyres this late in the race is already a big risk. Yenab's shown what happens, and he's coming to a point where he will start to close in soon to that area. It's just, what does he do? How do you get there? The incident between Pampernick and Samidia on lap 29 is under investigation, says the stewards. We'll see. Oh, and he's got a penalty to go with it as well. So not only is he likely going to get a penalty from the stewards for that move, because ultimately that was a very ambitious and over-aggressive move from Pampernick there. Somebody would never have expected a dive going into that corner. Personally, I don't see why he would need to even think about giving him the position. But here comes Get Owned on Danico coming in towards turn 1. Very simple overtake with the DRS. But this is where now the mediums start to just crumble away. The pace disappears. The hards, yeah, they're a little bit older, but they are still going to be more consistent. We've had another, is that some idiot? I think that's Yenab. Yeah, Yenab's come out of the pits and already having issues, it looks like, coming through turn 1. Before he even got to turn 1, he had to back out. So, yeah, dead last for now. 38.6 seconds is the gap between him and Safso. Yeah, Yenab's just going to cross the line.
Yeah, I think with regards to Get Owned and Danico there, Get Owned had been kind of just maintaining his ERS, staying in the slipstream in the DRS zone of Danico, and just maintained the gap. And then as soon as he saw that pace was dropping from Danico, he's decided, right, well, this is now time for me to just take this position back, try and build up a gap. He knows that Danico, well, I presume he would know that Danico's got an extra 3 seconds of penalties on top of him. But, you know, as a driver, you never like to risk it. You never like to put your hands in your fate in the hands of the penalties just in case. So it's always good to get everything done on track.
You know what I think we need? I think we need a penalty rundown. Would you be so kind to provide the info?
I would be so kind. However, my laptop's just decided it needs to do a Windows update, so I have now lost all the...
Oh, 1 second. Pampernick's going for a huge send on zones. I mean, again, we're seeing the over-aggressive nature, and it was a massive send. I think that one is very on the limit. I think it's probably okay. Zones obviously saw it and did as much as he could to avoid the contact, but Pampernick, whilst he is driving very fast and is looking like he's done very well overall, this is just too aggressive.
Yep, he can smell that podium in front of him, and he's wanting to get on it. So he's definitely trying to make the move, but he might just be doing a little bit too much. And even if he does manage to get the podium on track, I mean, we'll see what happens when the stewards have a word with him. So
yeah, I mean, it was very much like what Hammer Time says. You know, the stamp licked. Absolutely. The concern though is that the stamp licked, but was anybody else aware the stamp was licked? You can't just throw yourself into the corner and pray that they dive out of the way. It's just not going to work like that. You've got to keep it on track. You keep yourself focused and make sure that everything is under control. Danico on the back of Get On. This is a great day for Ferrari, and hopefully it's about to get even better for them, as Danico is going to look for a very late braking session in towards turn 1. He decides, I don't want to attack just yet. I'll wait for the next DRS zone. This is still good news for the Ferrari boys, but 21 laps in on these mediums for Danico. He is going to be starting to feel the wear come in. And Get On, who's done very well to be where he is today. Only 4.1 seconds away from Hypers, and they're on the exact same strategy, bear in mind. And he's actually still, I think, oh, well, you won't know at the moment because of the telemetry, but I think he's actually still on the same amount of penalties as Hypers. So ultimately, they've done an incredible job today.
Yeah, before it shut down, they were both on 3 seconds. So yeah, they're doing fantastic. Get On's really stepped up his game this race, and showing exactly why he deserves to be in that seat.
This is a really solid performance from Danico today. Honestly, and I said it earlier, and I'll repeat it. This is very uncharacteristic of him to be this strong this late in the race. But Danico is demonstrating what he has left to show us. He's showing us that he's not yet had the best race of his lifetime, and this might be the best race of his RNL career. But this is going to be great going into the rest of this calendar.
Yep, he's got a few races left where he can hopefully try and recreate this pace. But yeah, at the moment he looks like he's not going to manage to get that podium position. Just got those extra penalties, and his teammate is coming through at an absolute rate of knots. So most likely he's going to let him by, and Pan Pernick should make pretty easy work of Get Owned as well. Just the hard tyres versus the soft tyre. That's a big jump in pace.
So the major concern though for Danico is he does have 11 seconds of penalties, I'm told. Zones has 12, I'm also told, so bear that in mind. The issue really is, I don't know what Danico can do here. Pan Pernick is going to be there behind him, ready to sling it past as soon as he can. Now these guys will be in communication to each other, so the likelihood is he's not going to be caught out. Is Danico. I think he's going to know when his teammate is coming, and they're going to try and coordinate it. They're also going to try and coordinate it so that when Pan Pernick goes for the pass, which is likely going to happen on the home straight, he's going to try and bring Danico past Get Owned as well. This would be massive for him, again, before penalties are applied, but still an opportunity that can still yet make a massive difference coming to the end of this race.
Yep, so I've managed to get everything loaded back up, and both Pan Pernick and Danico currently on 6 seconds. So yeah, the two Mercedes boys both on 3, so Get Owned will be hoping that he can stay within that 3-second margin. He's got 2 laps now to just maintain this maintain this position, and if he does lose it, stay within that 3 seconds, and that will get you a secure second place. So that would be really great for him.
Oh, watch out for this now. This is going to be Danico seeing an opportunity going around the outside here in turn 4. It's a tough one to pull off, but he's stuck there on the inside too, and he can get it. Pan Pernick sees an opportunity alongside Get Owned, and now this time Get Owned is going to have to send it wide. A little bit too wide there for Pan Pernick. A little bit of contact between the two. Ultimately, nothing more than, I guess, a racing incident. However, Pan Pernick now is up to P3. He's on the back of Danico. And whilst Danico does have that 5-second additional force speeding in the pit lane earlier, that's what brings it up to that 11 seconds. Pan Pernick is in a great position before the stewards get hold of him.
Yep, absolutely. And Get Owned, as I said, he'll just want to try and stay within this. He's running a little bit wide. It looks like those tyres might just be falling off a little bit, but they should still get him through this final lap in good stead. I don't think it'll be near puncture, but he only needs to just use the slipstream here, stay within the zone, and try and keep up.
There's still hope for Preschneider here. He's on the back of this train. There is a copy behind him as well. On softs, 9 laps in though, that's the concern. The soft tyres are still going to be pretty quick, but they're not going to be that great by the end of this lap. We are now on the final lap. Here comes Preschneider to pass Dennis, who 17 laps in on the mediums for Preschneider is going to be pretty good still. A yellow flag sector 3. That is a Williams. Is that just chilling? It is. 32 laps in on the hards. I think he may have got a puncture. Yes, he has. The rear right has popped, and he is now going to have to creep his way back to the pits. Dennis and Preschneider swap places, as we expected, due to the DRS. And now the Renault boys, they're trying to attack one on some idiot. Here comes Brownie, looking to snatch P6 away from him. Bear in mind, some idiot I don't think has... Oh, he has got a penalty. There's a bit of contact into the back of some idiot. And that destabilized him just that little bit from Brownie into him, and that's a bit too aggressive, I think, from the Renault driver. Needs to try and keep himself here and in the limits. Bit too wide there, but I want to go on board. Our race leader, Veloce Hypers, read the situation, read the strategy, played it to perfection. Minus that one penalty, will cross the line and take the win. Pan Pernick will cross and take P2, along with Danico in P3. Get Owned will jump them both and get himself a nice, solid P2 victory. And I'm going to look forward to that interview we have with him later. Danico will stay P5 as some idiot jumps up to P4. Brownie goes P6. Zones goes P7, sorry. Yota P8. Buemo's P9. Yonti P10. Although it's all changed because of penalties. And Beaker jumps into P10, but then Copy leaps up above and gets into P9. So Preschneider P13. Dennis P14. Hayes, who looked so good at the start of this race, has a bit of an issue. Knocks him down, and he ends up recovering a little bit to P15. Noosa will cross the line. I think he's struggling with his car. Yes, he is. P16, just chilling, who's decided to go for a fresh set of softs. I think he's going to try and snatch the fastest lap point away. We'll see. Here he comes then. Through the S's. It's whether or not he's invalidated. He's looking clean, but all it's going to be is just a big screw you to the other drivers ahead, if he can take that point away.
He won't be able to take it because he obviously pitted this lap, so either way he'll be slower. But Yenab, he's actually got it there in 19th position. He's got the fastest lap anyway, so it doesn't actually go to anyone in the top 10.
Well, there we go. That's the end of the Mexico Grand Prix. We'll see in a second exactly who finishes where and what. I thought he'd pit on the last lap. Guys, leave me alone. Samidia is your driver of the day. There's a change. Wait, what? Exactly. 32% of the votes there given to Samidia. Very well done to you, sir. Congratulations on driver of the day. I actually think that's probably... I mean, for me, I think it's a tie, really. I think when it comes to driver of the day vote, I want to give it to both of the Mercedes drivers. They took this perfectly to the end. They both got the same amount of penalties. They drove really... Oh, sorry, Hyper's got one additional. But they drove
got an additional
really,
penalty
really
when
well.
he was trying to overtake Safso, I think, at the final lap. But yeah, like for me, I mean, Panpernick done great, and if he wasn't so aggressive in his final stint, I would think you'd probably give it to him. But Get Owned, Hypers, that was flawless execution from them. Great strategy. I would say Get Owned probably deserves it a little bit more from, starting a little bit further back and then managing to jump the cars at the front and getting in at that second position and just maintained his position and his role and had a very clean race. I would give it to Get Owned.
Well, the rundown is as follows. So Hyper's securing the win here. Started on pole. He finishes all the way at the front again. Get on in P2. Panpernick P3 after a very aggressive opportunity on a couple of drivers in there. We'll see what the stewards come to the conclusion at the end of it. Samidia at P4. Danico P5. Brownie P6. Zones P7. Yolta P8. Copy. Managed to jump very, very high. Considering where he was when he crossed the line, because he got 0 penalties. In fact, he's the only person, I think, that didn't get a single penalty out of all the drivers. Wemmels P10 securing the final point, with Beaker getting the Best of the Rest award. Yonsi P12, Preschneider P13, Dennis P14, Hayes P15, Noosa 16th, JC 17th, Safso 18th, and Yenab in 19th place. Dan, the DNFer of the race. Wow, there you go. Right, now we need to go to interview time. Let's go and speak to our top 3. And we'll do as they are right now before stewards get hold of them. So we'll start off with Panpernick. We'll go from there. All right, let me sort this out really quick. Bring up my Discord. Where's Panpernick? Where are you, mate? Panpernick. He's not there. He's not there.
He's already celebrating, having a little bit of champagne.
Maybe a little bit too early for that. All right, well, we'll have to go to P2 then. In fact, we could probably just join Mercedes. Let's bring Get Under up in here, actually. Get Earned. Hello. How are you doing? I bet you're pretty happy.
Yeah, that was quite an intense race, I have to say.
But I do want to touch on your qualifying first, though. So, obviously, you qualified P5. Actually, a pretty solid qualifying session from you. Do you think you could have eked out a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. But I had a little screen freeze, like a little bit of a lag in first sector. So, that cost me a little bit of time, maybe 1/10. But yeah, I was quite happy with the starting position. I mean, the slipstream was obviously really strong from 5th place. So, yeah.
But then the race, that's the bit that shows so much promise from you. Obviously, you come into it, immediately you get a brilliant start. You're right there alongside Hypers for such a long time. And it looked like you two were working really well together to try and carry through the rest of the race. Despite the little battles you had with Danico and Panpernick, obviously them having penalties does change things up quite considerably. But still, a P2 finish for Mercedes and a P1 finish for Mercedes, this is massive.
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, it was the first time since like ages that I felt pressure, because usually like Infamous, Nico and Camille and like all the good guys, Hypers, we're all like fighting for the top positions. And now since the 2 racing points are gone, I knew there's a chance of like getting really a 1-2. And yeah, it just got a really decent start, got a tow, and yeah, and just managed to go around the outside of everyone, and yeah, it was just great.
So, obviously, we are coming towards the end of the calendar. We've got USA next week. Are you feeling confident?
I have to say this is probably my worst track, but I will give it everything and see what comes out.
Good. Well, I need a prediction from you. I want to hear your prediction. I do this to everybody I interview. I need to know where you're going to finish.
Okay. I'm saying 4th.
4th? Okay.
Yeah, 4th.
I mean, it's still a solid result regardless, and it will help you, especially when it comes to the constructors. So don't count yourself out just yet. There's still a long way to go. This is good.
Yeah, I can spoiler you right now that Hypers isn't at racing next week because the WEC event.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
Florian FK is driving. And
Ooh.
yeah, let's see what comes out, I guess.
Well, congratulations on your P2. A massive jump for you, a massive jump for the team, and hopefully we see more of this in the future races.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much. Right, let's get
Alright.
Hypers
See
in
you
here.
then.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hypers.
Yo, what's up?
So you threw me off today. I'm not gonna lie, you threw me off today. Your quali was solid. I'm very standard P1 as normal, but then it comes to the race. I thought you was gonna fall for the exact same trap you did on Tuesday when you pit so early on the softs. I thought, I know he's literally going for the 2-stop strategy again, but then you chucked on the hards, and then suddenly, look where you finished up.
Yeah, I mean, the one-stop strategy was something we decided on literally this morning with Geraint. The plan was a 2-stop, but knowing how much traffic there is and how much traffic there's always been in Rwagnation, we decided that we're going to value track position. Hards were very durable. I literally feel like I drove really bad on them. I tried to look after them, but I was just making mistakes left, right, and center. But yeah, in the end, the strategy paid off, and I think we are definitely better off with a one-stop because Panpernik, who we would be pretty much in Panpernik's boat if we were to 2-stop, and he had to get past so much traffic. He had a few scraps from what I heard, so I think valuing the track position really got us the 1-2 today.
So I do need you to very explicitly explain to Fossetti, who's in the chat, what is the prime strategy here?
To be honest, it all really depends because you can opt for a 2-stop, but it has those kind of little flows. First of all, you can't make 4 runs in qualifying. You need to take 3 sets of soft because you need that additional medium set. Second of all, it's with traffic, it's very hard to get past traffic, especially the mediums at the end aren't that impressively quick, which I experienced in ERS on Tuesday. So soft medium has those flaws, but if there's a safety car at any point, it's definitely the better strategy. But yeah, we risked it. Even if there was a safety car lap 1, we had the right call for that. So.
Well, I mean, either way, it worked out for both of you. Look at that. P1-2 for Mercedes is a massive step from the constructors, and I think we're pretty much nearly there, a point where it's unrecoverable for anybody.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, as I said, I really wanted to get a good result in constructors. When we saw that Infamous is missing, we knew that we could score good points. As you might already know, I'm not there next race because of the Air Factor event. There is no, I need to practice for that all week. So we really wanted to get a good gap, and now we can pretty much chill. Florian can drive. We'll see how that goes. I also secured the championship as well, so
indeed. So that's why you're taking a week off. Busy celebrating.
Yeah, celebrating.
Yeah. No, I'm just but good timing because first of all, I wouldn't do USA, and second of all, if I was to claim it in USA, it's kind of anticlimactic. I hate this track. Just
no, understandable. But again, congratulations. A very, very well done job, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's it for the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in Mexico. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate for you. As always, I've been Ben Raggy McConnell, and joining me has been the incredible Horn Badger. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate you. You are a lad. And we'll see you guys next week for the USA GP.